guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to talk about node selector in Kubernetes. What is node selector? So node selector in Kubernetes is just a technology that Kubernetes use to force a pod to be deployed on a specific node. So sometimes we want to force Kubernetes to deploy the pod on a specific node. We all know that when we just ask Kubernetes to deploy a pod, they know that the pod will be deployed on the pod based on the scheduler. So the scheduler is going to be the one that decides on which node the pod goes. But we can force things around. We can insist that Kubernetes put those pods inside a specific node. So in simple language, a node selector is just like its name says, node selector is a Kubernetes technology that allow us to control exactly on which pod, on which node we want to deploy our application. So let's go in the browser and make this happen. So I have a deployment here. That deployment here is called my deployment, and it's made of 10 pods. So let's deploy this simply and see what's going to happen. So let me empty I have a file here. I want to empty that. I will vim into that file. Then I will put this content here. So we have our file here. If I type kubectl get pod, you guys will see that there's no pod around. So I will say kubectl apply. Then I will apply that file. It will create 10 pods. So kubectl get pod, you guys will see that 10 pods have been created. Let me create a terminal so that it makes it simple for people to go ahead and watch around. So we have this here. kubectl get pod. We have that 10 pod, right? We have 10 pod that are still in the pending status. So let's see why these pod are in the pending status. So kubectl describe pod. 4 pod are viable. Didn't get yes, because the node selector is actually there. I'm going to comment out that portion there for now. I will comment out that portion there for now, so that can be. Let's vim into it. Let's remove the node pod portion. Not node pod, node selector. I'm going to reapply this. If I type kubectl get pod, this is what has happened. As you guys can see, those pods are being created. Now, if I say get pod -oy, let's see on which node the pod has been created. So as you can see here, this pod has been created in multiple nodes. The VS node, the VK node, the VS, the VK node, and the VP node. Now, how do I force Kubernetes to only deploy this on the VS node, for example, right? Which mechanism can I use for to force Kubernetes to deploy that on the specific node? So what I can do here is that, like I put here, I can create a label. This is just a label. Then I can actually place that label under. I can create a label. Then I place that label on the node. Then I tell Kubernetes that, hey, I only deploy this application on the node matching this label, right? Only deploy application on the node matching this label. So let's go ahead and label. So to label that, we are going to say, for example, to label your node in Kubernetes, you can say kubectl, you say label node, you pass the node name. So let's say kubectl get node. You can say no or node. So we want that to be deployed on the VS, right? So we are going to say kubectl label node. We pass the node name, which is there, the VS node, and we give the label. So Kubernetes will go ahead and label that. At least one label required. So kubectl label node. Then we give the node name, and yes, so it is equal here. That shows the label. So I think there's a command called kubectl show hyphen labels, if I'm not mistaken. It will show label. This command that way can recall. The kubectl show label, it will actually show that label. So let's go, for example, to Google and try to find out that label. So I can say here kubectl show label is a command. see what's this guy here. We still get port -L. Get port, get port. The command is kubectl show things -label, something like that. Selector, let's see on Kubernetes. Try to get that command from Kubernetes. The command says show. Kubectl show labels using label in Azure. Yeah, I found a command on my other screen. Command is here. So it is kubectl get node show label, right? So kubectl get node show label. Now I can say kubectl get node, and I will pick this node. Then I will say kubectl get node. I will specify which node I'm talking about. Then I will say show label. It actually show me that label. So if we spy around, we just label that node. And if I try to grab what we put earlier, let's say SSD. If I grab SSD, I think we said SSD, we said this type equal SSD. So let me type this here and grab -I, this. So it will be shown somewhere. Server one, see here. That's the label that is there. Other label have been played by Kubernetes directly. Now, if I deploy this application, so kubectl get port, let me show you guys again, -OY, they are scattered around all the node that we have in the cluster. Now, I'm going to say kubectl delete, and if I delete this, I bring that down. When I say get port, you won't see nothing. So let's zoom into our file and let's actually update and add the node selector there. So this will force Kubernetes to actually deploy this in the specific node, in one node only. So let's do this. For security here, apply -F. Security get port. We have those being created. They are all running, but if I say get port -OY, let's check. As you can see, everything is only deployed in one node. So we have actually forced Kubernetes to deploy in one node. So we want from this here, things being scattered around on multiple nodes to things being organized to be placed in one node. So the node selector is actually what we can use in Kubernetes to force port to be deployed on a single node. I hope you liked the video. See you guys on the next video. Thank you.